Okay, welcome to the Woven Learning Air Cannon controller build video. I'm really excited to be sharing with you the controller build. I have one complete here. As you can see, the battery slides in and then the volts turn on. Once the LEDs popped out there, it's just floating around. This is what's going to happen as you work on yours as well. So once you turn the safety off, flip that up, safety off, that means it's hot and it's going to launch. We push the button, boom, and it launches just like that. I'm just holding that down. So boom, there's usually there's going to be some bolts holding that in. And then when you're done launching, you close that. So let's get into how to build this. Let's take the battery out. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to what this looks like inside, and then I'm going to show you how to make this with your group. Okay, so we have down here the battery holder. This is where this will be epoxied in for you guys already because it takes some time to dry. So this is a 12 volt battery, as you can see, from a drill, and I just cut the drill down and epoxied it in, so it just is nice and snug, fits in, works great. And then you just recharge it using this little spot there. Okay, so when you get your controller box, you're going to have this, but you won't have any of the wires or any of the other parts in there. So I want to go over all the pieces that you're going to need to do. At the top of the battery holder, this grip here, you're going to see a red and a black. Red is positive, black is negative. And in this case, we have also blue wires and yellow wires. What you'll see is that the yellow is also connected to the black, so it kind of works as black, which is fine. The colors are just the plastic casing for the wire. And then the red goes to a fuse here, just to make sure we don't damage anything electrically. And then it switches over to blue. And so wherever you see blue, that's the positive. Wherever you see the yellow, that's going to be the negative. All right, so this is what it looks like top to bottom. Okay, we've got a voltmeter here. We've got a safety switch. And we have the launch button. The goal behind this is when you put the battery in, we want the voltmeter to turn on and tell us the voltage. We do not want the launch button to work until we're clear and we know everybody's safe and we can turn safety off and then launch. The voltage is going to tell us if there's enough power in the battery to activate this solenoid. This is the solenoid valve, and you can see there's an arrow on it here. This solenoid valve with the pressure tank on this side will allow the air to pass from the pressure tank to your barrel very quickly. That's what this device does. And if you look on top, since we're getting into electronics, you're going to see that this is DC, direct current, 12 volts. The pipe size is 1 inch, so as you're building your barrel, you're going to notice that it's a 1 inch threaded pipe that's going to go here. PVC, just like in irrigation. Both sides, 1 inch. Okay, let's get into the controller, and I'm going to show you how to crimp and make connections. I'm going to show you how to wire this up. So as I open this up, you're going to see lots of pieces, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The best thing for us to do is just go through this one step at a time, and then I will show you how to make these connections. This connection and this connection and these connections and the LED, all this stuff in here. So from underneath this kind of long switch here, that's the safety switch. Over here, that's our launch button. And over here, that's our voltage meter or voltmeter. So let's look at how this is wired up. From the grip, this controller that holds the battery here, the positive is going to have a butt connector. These are called butt connectors here. This is a butt connector. One wire goes in this side, one wire goes in that side. I'll show you soon how to do that if you haven't done that before. So we have the wire that comes off of this battery holder to this. This is our fuse holder. This is a fuse. And what a fuse is, here I have one out. A fuse limits the power that is able to travel from through this wire. So if you look very closely, you'll see that there's almost like a little like paper clip kind of shape in there. And if more than 3 amps, this one's a 3 amp fuse, if you can see that. There you go. If more than 3 amps goes through this, then that little piece of wire in there breaks and stops the electrical current from flowing, and then it protects all the other devices in there. So we have a 3 amp fuse in this fuse holder. So we're going to butt connector from this red wire to either side of the fuse. So you're going to get a fuse connector that looks like this. It has a little cap, which you don't have to use, but that's where the fuse goes, just like this. Fuse plugs in, just like that. Just push it in with your thumb. And you have these long wires. And you'll notice I've cut mine down. I've cut my wires down. So I have a real short one and then a slightly longer one. And that's okay. You can cut these down. You can cut these down. So we're going to get into that, the lengths and all that sort of thing. So from the red goes into the fuse holder and then over here. And then you'll notice it splits into 2 blue wires. So 2 blue wires, one to one side of the safety switch, and then one to the voltmeter. Because we want power. Imagine this is allowing the volts to go from here and straight to the voltmeter. We want the voltmeter to not be connected to a switch. We just want it to be on as soon as we put the battery in. So we have this red wire off of the fuse holder, splits into 2. One goes to one side of the safety switch, and then the other one goes to the positive, as you can see here, the positive of the voltmeter. Okay, let's finish following our blue wires before we start talking about all the yellow. The other side of our safety switch will have 2 wires as well. One will go to our our LED. Here, you'll have LED like this. I think I'll solder some of these just to make it easier because it's pretty small. And then I did some heat shrink, but you could also use some electrical tape. Either way, it works great. The longer leg on the LED is the positive leg. That really matters. So we're going to have the positive, which is the blue, right? Remember the blue. So that's going to be the longer leg, and the shorter leg is going to go to the negative. So that's how we wire in the LED. So we have the 2 wires coming off the back of the safety switch. One goes to the LED, and then one wire is going to go to the launch switch. This is only going to be active, remember, once we flip safety off. When safety's off, that means power is going to go from this side, right? This is the side that has the straight from the battery through the fuse. So there's always going to be power here, but not power here until you flip the switch. When you flip the switch, the LED turns on, but then also our launch button will be active. Okay, let's take a little look there. Let me move some wires around so you can kind of see what we're working with. So we have the other blue wire going to the launch switch, and then the other side of the launch switch goes straight to the positive wire that goes straight out to our connector that will connect to the electric solenoid valve here, which will launch your air cannon. All right, let's get back into it. So again, from the battery holder, red wire goes to the fuse holder with the fuse. The other side of the fuse holder splits into 2. One goes to the positive side of the voltmeter. The other one goes to one side of the safety switch. The other side of the safety switch has 2 wires, and we'll use these ring connectors, as you can see. These are ring connectors. They get screwed into here. Splits into 2. So one will go to the LED, and the other one will go to the launch switch. From the other side of the launch switch, it goes to this 2 wire, as you can see, that comes through this hole. You'll be wiring that through that hole. See if I can get that good on camera there. Straight to that solenoid that will launch it. Now let's talk about the negative wires, because that's the other half of our box. We have a black wire that's going to be coming out of the battery holder, and we're going to take an extra, we have to extend it. So we use this yellow wire, we use a butt connector, yellow wire, and then this ring terminal onto this. This is called a bus bar. And what this is going to do is make it easy for us to connect all of our different negatives. So you can see here, if I bend these down a little bit so it's a little easier to see, this is the negative wire here, and then it's shared because it jumps from here to here, and then that jumps from there to there, and you see that's doubled up, jumps from there to there, it's doubled up, and then from there to there. Now, what that means is this one negative wire is now shared with this negative, and that negative. So let's figure out which negatives we need to be wiring up. So this first one, the one at the very bottom, that comes off of our battery, right? This is the battery holder. Black wires down there. If I bring it up really close, that might help. The next yellow wire goes to the other side of the voltmeter. Then the next yellow or negative wire goes to the negative leg of the LED. And the last negative goes to the black or negative wire on this wire, this two wire, the red and black, that goes straight out to the electric solenoid. Okay, let's get into how to actually make these connections. I'm going to move this out of the way so it'll still be a little bit on the screen. So you can kind of keep an eye on it up there. Let me move it back to about there. And let me show you using some of this wire that you'll be getting. Remember, we make the yellow wire as the negative and we use the blue wire as the positive. So this wire is 18 gauge and it's stranded wire. What we can do is take a wire stripper right here and you unlock it, and you'll notice that there's some numbers down the side, and one of them is 18. So if we want to expose some of the copper inside there, we can just slip it down to the 18. You can see where it's at, 18. And we can give ourselves a little bit, oops, that's okay. Give ourselves a little bit of room, and all we're going to do is take off the plastic. All we're doing is taking off the plastic outer part of the wire, so we can just start to grip down, maybe even twist it a little, and then I take my thumb and I hold the wire and I start to push, and then maybe I release a little bit, and I'm just trying to grab that plastic that's been cut and pull it off, just like that. So now we have some wire exposed, and one trick is to twist your wire so it acts as one, because when we make our connections, let's say we want to make a butt connection. Before we do that, let me get another section of this wire. This can also cut wire. If you just put it here, just like that, it'll just snip the wire. And let's do another cut here. So again, I'm at the 18. I just pop it, just squeeze down on it, and now I'm just going to remove the plastic, just like that. So now what I have is, let's say, two wires that are going to get connected together. An example of this would be down here. That's two wires that will need to be connected. So let's do a butt connector first. First step is, like I mentioned, twist your wire so it's like one, so it's nice and twisted. And then I just look down the center there. You'll see there's some room. Just push it down in there, just like that. And right there about in the middle, you're going to see there's actually like a little plate, and it'll kind of stop it. I like to use maybe like this kind of a plier or something. That's what I'll be sending up for you to use, and then you're just going to crimp it down. You got to really use your muscles to crimp it down. When you're done crimping, you're going to want to tug on it. Make sure it's not going to pull out. If it pulls out like that, then you didn't do a good enough job. Even though it looks crimped, you didn't do a good enough job. And that's okay. I wanted to show as an example. So let's try it again. So we're going to slip this in here, put it in, and then we're going to jam this down just like this. So I'm holding that yellow wire in there because I don't want it to move around. I'm going to jam it down. Just like this. Get a nice good grip on it, and I'm going to use 2 hands. And I'm going to squeeze like crazy. Now I'm going to pull it, and look at that. It doesn't come out. Now to do a butt connector, because there's a butt connector is like taking 2 ends and putting it together. Do the same thing for the other side. So literally just feed this in to this side, and then just crimp this one down just like that. Get it started, and then use both hands and squeeze it down just like that. Just like that. Pretty good. Now, let me show you how to do a ring terminal, which is this, a ring terminal, which will be like for all this here on the bus bar. That's a ring terminal. You'll notice up here, there's no terminals. You literally just slide the wires in and then tighten it down with a screwdriver. And then over here, it's a different type of connector. It slides on to, this is our voltmeter. And on the back, it's just these like spades. And you literally put your wire in there, crimp it down, and then just slide this on. It's pretty tight. Just slide it on, just like that. So you can see one side's positive, one side's negative. Remember, positive is the blue side. Let me try and show you so you can see it. Positive's the blue side, and negative's the yellow side. So that would be the blue side, that would be the yellow side. But both of the connectors are blue. So it would be the blue wire and the yellow wire. Okay, so ring terminal. Let's get into the ring terminal. So ring terminals, these are kind of small. And still, we're going to strip this wire down. Just like this. Take a little bit. And you know what? Even if you don't want to use that after you cut it, you see how I got that little cut in there? You can literally just pull it off with your hands too. Either way. Some people even use scissors, you know, if you don't want to use those kind of connectors. And to cut the plastic off, you just kind of like work it around. Like if my finger was a wire, you just like work and kind of like pump it, I guess. Sort of like this. Like kind of go around until you cut that plastic. Okay, ring connector. So the ring connector is a little bit different because this can actually go all the way in and you can actually see it poke out. See a little bit of extra wire there? That extra wire is a good indication that we have enough in there. We have enough wire in there. But same idea, take some pliers and then we just jam this thing down as hard as we can. Sometimes there's like a direction of the metal as it crimps down. But I'm going to use 2 hands. I'm going to crimp it down just like that. And then I'm going to check. It's good and connected. Just like that. Good and connected. So that is how you make these ring terminals. Very straightforward. And the main thing is we get the order of the wiring. That's super important. Once you have these ring terminals, they go just directly onto this bus bar. And the bus bar is literally just take a screwdriver and I'm just going to undo this one so you can see as an example. It's literally just a screw, just like that. And if this was the next one, I'd put that in there. This was the proper one, and just put it onto the bus bar and try not to drop it. Put it to the bus bar and then screw it in just like that. Nice and snug. You want it to be really snug. Because remember, the way it's wired is that first yellow wire is the negative off of the battery. That's super important because we have a positive and negative, and the electrons flow from negative to positive. Let me undo this. Let me get this out of here. Let me put this back together. So, ring terminals. How many are you going to need? Looks like quite a few. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you notice these are double wired, right? Double wired. You're also going to need ring terminals over here. 1, 2, and then 3. So it's because we have got 2 wires. Remember, this is the safety switch. We have one that goes straight over to the launch button, and then one that goes to the LED. And that's how you wire up the Air Cannon controller box. I'm excited to see you all build these and launch them.